Andrew Tate, The World Tour Lie. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. We haven't visited everybody's favourite talking toe for a little while, so I thought it was useful to break down some further behaviour of Andrew Tate to help you understand the way that the narcissist behaves. The Independent, as per Stephen McGrath, has reported that a court in Romania's capital ruled on Friday that social media influencer Andrew Tate can leave Romania but must remain within the European Union as he awaits trial on charges of human trafficking, rape, and forming a criminal gang to sexually exploit women. It is, of course, important to note that he has not been found guilty of any of the allegations and therefore must be viewed as innocent until proven guilty. He faces very serious charges and had been held in custody for a period of time. Now, he is able to travel within the European Union. The Bucharest Tribunal's decision to allow Tate, aged 37, to leave the country was hailed by his spokesperson as a significant victory and a major step forward in the case. It is not clear whether prosecutors can or will appeal the court's decision. Mr. Tate, a former professional kickboxer and dual British-US citizen, was initially arrested in December 2022 near Bucharest, along with his brother Tristan and two Romanian women. Romanian prosecutors formally indicted all four in June last year, and all four have denied the allegations. After Friday's decision, Tate wrote on the social media platform X, "I am free." Well, that's not quite right, as you can't leave the European Union. He states, "For the first time in 3 years, I can leave Romania. The sham case is falling apart." Naturally, his narcissism has interpreted this lifting of restrictions to be such as the sham case falling apart, that his narcissism interprets that as that what it means. Notwithstanding the fact that the case remains extant, that there will be a trial, that the charges haven't gone away, he simply regards the lifting of the restrictions as the sham case falling apart, because that's how his narcissism interprets it vis-à-vis the prime aim of control. We embrace and applaud the decision of the court today. I consider it a reflection of the exemplary behaviour and assistance of my clients, said Eugen Vidiniak, one of Tate's lawyers, adding that the Tates are still determined to clear their name and reputation. On April the 26th, the Bucharest Tribunal ruled that the prosecutor's case file against Tate met the legal criteria and that a trial could start, but did not set a date for it to begin. So the supposed sham case hasn't fallen apart. It's actually been confirmed that it can go ahead. That ruling came after the legal case had been discussed for months in the preliminary chamber stages, a process in which the defendants can challenge prosecutors' evidence and case file. After the Tate brothers' arrest, they were held for 3 months in police detention before being moved to house arrest. They were later restricted to Bucharest municipality and nearby Ilfov County, and then to Romania. Vidniak said the ability to travel within the 27-nation EU bloc will allow the Tates to pursue professional opportunities without restriction. Andrew Tate, who has amassed 9.5 million followers on the social media platform X, has repeatedly claimed that prosecutors have no evidence against him, denial, the first line of the narcissistic twin lines of defence, and that there is a political conspiracy to silence him, paranoia. He was previously banned from various social media platforms for allegedly expressing misogynistic views and using hate speech. In a separate case, Andrew Tate was served at his home in Romania with a civil lawsuit lodged by 4 British women after a claim was issued by the High Court in London, according to a statement released in May by McHugh, Jory and Partners, the law firm representing the 4 women. Naturally, the presentation of a lawsuit is a threat to control. The 4 allege Tate sexually and physically assaulted them, lack of emotional empathy, sense of entitlement, if true, and reported him to British authorities in 2014 and 2015. After a 4-year investigation, the Crown Prosecution Service decided in 2019 not to prosecute him. The alleged victims then turned to crowdfunding to pursue a civil case against him. In a separate third case, the Tate brothers also appeared in March at the Bucharest Court of Appeal after British authorities issued arrest warrants over allegations of sexual aggression in a UK case dating back to 2012 to 2015. The appeals court granted the British request to extradite the Tates to the UK, but only after legal proceedings in Romania have concluded. Thus, whilst Andrew Tate is cock-a-hoop, the sham case falling apart, 1, it hasn't, and he'll still proceed to trial. 2, he's been served with a civil claim lodged by 4 British women. And 3, extradition request has been granted in relation to further criminal allegations against him, which will be addressed once the Romanian case has concluded. Thus, he faces many threats to control. But this hasn't stopped Andrew Tate exhibiting his usual bombastic, belligerent and bragging nature as he released a video on X. Let's have a look at this and then break down what's going on. Here's the footage.
Now I'm free to do a tour around the world, a daddy tour. Tokyo, Dubai, Miami, Geneva, London. I might do it all by car. You ever driven to Tokyo? No, you're a pussy. I'm built different. Built different.
I dare say you're mourning the loss of a few brain cells after having to witness that, but such is the sacrifice for understanding more about narcissism. Let's start off with what we're looking at. Well, it evidently appears to have been filmed in his compound or home. We see him bare-chested, showing off his musculature, which of course is the standard behaviour of a somatic narcissist such as he. We see a number of vehicles behind him, which are clearly expensive sports vehicles. Again, triangulating his audience with his apparent financial success. Also, he wants to be seen parading around his domain, the master of all that he surveys, all part of this assertion of control over his audience. Tate is exhibiting his usual bombastic style, whereby he does the piece to camera, gesticulating and speaking aggressively. It's his modus operandi. And he tells us, now I'm free to do a tour around the world. Actually, Andrew, you're not, because you can't leave the EU. It's likely, of course, that that statement is as a consequence of the fact that he's perhaps not that bright, but also is driven by his narcissism, whereby his narcissism has interpreted the fact that there has been certain lifting of restrictions as them being able to suggest that he has total freedom. And therefore, his narcissism translates this into, I'm now free to do a tour around the world. That is the suggestion of what he can do. He describes it as a daddy tour, which I believe is part of his shtick. I think he has some daddy meme currency on the go also, as he seeks to make more money out of individuals who can't see through what he actually is. He talks about Tokyo and that he's going to go to Tokyo, to go to Dubai and Miami. Well, Tokyo isn't in the EU, neither is Dubai, and neither is Miami. You might wonder, why is he lying? Why is he saying that he's able to go to these places when he's not able to actually do so? Well, it's his grandiosity, and it's his narcissism talking, whereby he believes that he can go to these places because he wants to portray to his audience that he is the all-conquering Andrew Tate, and nobody chains him. Tate continues by explaining that he's going to go to Geneva, which is in Switzerland, which is not in the EU, which he can't actually go to. That he's going to go to London, which is in the United Kingdom, which isn't in the EU, therefore he can't go there. He then suggests that he might do it all by car, asking, you ever driven to Tokyo? Well, given the fact that he's in Romania, he can't drive to Tokyo because Tokyo's in Japan and Japan is an island. So he's making himself look something of a tit here. Of course, he doesn't care about that, because in the moment, he's drawing in the thought fuel, imagining all of his hangers-on, all of his supporters, revelling in the fact that Superman Tate has bust off the shackles in Romania and that he can now go and undertake a world tour. He can't. He could do one within the EU, but he can't go any further than that. He then says that if you've not driven to Tokyo, that you're a pussy, thus immediately insulting his audience, and then reasserting how he is so special because he's built different, as he emphasises. Well, you're certainly different with regard to your inability to understand geography, Andrew Tate, given the fact that in the course of what is roughly a 14-second video, your knowledge of geography is absolutely appalling. You decide you're going to drive to an island. You're not going to be able to do that. You list a place that's outside of the EU, Tokyo, and then another, Dubai, and then another, Miami, and then another, Geneva, and then another, London, whereby you would breach the terms of your bail. And indeed, given the fact that a warrant has been issued for your arrest in relation to alleged crimes in the United Kingdom, you'd find yourself getting cuffed as soon as you entered the United Kingdom. Not particularly bright, but all very entertaining, because it demonstrates the bravado, the belligerence, the boasting nature of this particular narcissist, as having received some news which filtered through his distortion field of control, gives him a sense of control. He then embarks by way of response of not accepting it in silence, feeling no need to herald it, or even accepting it with an announcement in a graceful manner. Commensurate with his style, he has to go on the offensive, boasting about what he's going to do, showing off his various vehicles as he tells you all the places that he's going to go to, and the fact that you haven't driven to Tokyo, well, you're a pussy, and he's not because he's built different. It's hugely entertaining in terms of demonstrating the type of narcissist that he is, and in this short clip exhibits so much of his narcissism as he embarks on his world tour lie. Remember, as an unaware narcissist, he does not believe that he is lying. He thinks that he can go to all of those places because he is the Superman that is Andrew Tate, and that the authorities cannot hold him forever. He wants to brag about that, driven by his narcissism for the purposes of eliciting a response. But for those of us that understand geography and the terms of the restrictions, what we see is a not-so-clever narcissist making a fool of himself, boasting about going to places that he can't actually go to. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for watching.